fantastic lady, right? She's been all around the place. I'm just borrowing Sarah's word. He says he has seen her all around the place doing fantastic job. And so, Ojo, we call her Ojo because I don't know, maybe she'll give us a history about how that name also came about. But she's doing well, and I love her shoes, and I'm sure you will like her shoes too after the show, and you really need to get one. Hi, Josephine. Good evening. How are you? How is the feeling right now?
Hi, good evening once again.
Hmm. Charlie,
How
it's
you
good to
have
have
been
you.
having me here? Like, I just increasing.
Oh, Charlie, I think I've worked. Me, I know you. Charlie, you really put me on, and I'm still enjoying it. So yeah, how's the feeling right now?
Everything is going well. Everything is going
Hmm.
well. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, that's fantastic. I wouldn't like to waste much of the time. I know the energy is there. You've been preparing for this whole thing, which is so thoughtful and committed of you. And then I would really like for you to talk about your architecture journey. So now you are really going to talk about your architecture journey first, and you tell us about your side hustle. So how is your architecture, and how did you bring in the side hustle? And how is the two working out?
Okay, so first off, for me, I wanted to do architecture right from class six.
Whoa.
I really knew nothing about it. All that I knew was I'm good with BT. So back in school, I used to literally take contracts from my classmates, the men, the boys back then. So I think their works when they give us project assignment. I charge each person 5 CD. Then I do the work. Then the following morning, when it's time for us to submit, I give it to them. So by the time we have ended the class that day, I've gotten about 30 CDs on me because back then I was rich. So right from then, I think I heard someone mention architecture, I think my DT teacher. So then I decided that, oh, well, atometry, so that's what I'm doing. So SS, the courses I chose, I had that in mind, university the same. But then I think first year, Professor Quentin asked us, he gave us a sheet of paper and asked us to write why we decided to choose architecture and what we want to use it for. And I still have that sheet, a picture of that sheet, and I wrote on that sheet, I do not know why I'm here. All I know is that I wanted to do architecture and I'm here. And I took a picture of that sheet. And even as I still contemplate, why am I even doing this course? Or why did I do this course? But it has been fulfilling so far. And well, it has been a good journey.
Very insightful thing. I mean, nobody would have thought to write something like, I do not know why I'm doing architecture. All I wanted to do was architecture. What would you even do think about something like that? Anyway, that was so bold of you. And I'm sure it was part of the reasons why you went into the shoe business. I mean, what was your motivation into the shoe business?
Okay, so as part of my intros, I normally say my name is Josephine, an architect by profession, a shoemaker by occupation, and most importantly, a cool lady by nationality, right? So
Mm,
I see it
mm,
as there's a business part of me there because of the pro person. Now, the thing is, in second year, when I was in second year, I started selling instruments with Harry, a handful, then
yeah,
Williams.
yeah,
We're selling
yeah. Mm.
drawing instruments, right? Then after that, well, we had some issues with the department because, well, yeah, illegal selling. Then,
I know.
so then that went away. Then I started
Mm,
selling anima. I went to
mm,
Asafo by the
mhm,
help of one of my friends, Sarah. I went to Asafo, I went to get anima. Then I started selling.
mm.
Then and also no, well, it has its seasons. And so after that, then I went to sell eggs. So basically I just like selling things because then for me, I just wanted to be able to get something to support myself so that I don't have to be calling home every time to collect money. I felt like it would be burden to the family. So in 2020, during COVID, when we're coming back to school, even before we knew we'll come back to school, I was like, okay, well, I need money. I still need money to take care of myself one way or the other.
Mhm.
So I spoke to my senior most sister that, oh, I've gotten an idea to get someone. to go around and repair shoes, like the normal shoemaker, the one that we know. No? And my senior sister asked me, why am I thinking like I'm not educated? And so when she said that, I'm like,
Oh my days,
like,
I'm laughing out loud.
I should think, why don't I get someone who actually makes it? Then I'll start selling it from that point. And so, and back then I also knew a friend who said he knows someone who makes his shoes. So I'm like, okay, fine, I want to meet the person. So I went to meet the person, and I think, well, one thing led to another. Then I started selling. And for me, the lectures were my first clients. Believe me, I had my way around it. I just go to this person. I started selling shoes. The first lecturer who bought my shoes was Mr. Isel. I think he bought two. That's how we started. Then gradually, I started making noise about it. Then now my lectures were my clients. And so that was how I entered into it. It was just so that I'll be able to take care of myself on campus. And so truthfully, it was for money. Truthfully.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I mean, money is the best motivation for any business you want to go into. If it's not money, guy, then you're not a Ghanaian. So yeah, of course. I mean, every lecturer should be our first customer. If you are really training us, then you should be the first to buy our products when we are out there in the market. So that one is a very smart move. By you, shoe business, really. Okay, let me just chip this one in, all right. Um, has there been any instance where you applied any principle, philosophy, whatever in architecture, and then you applied the same thing, right, in the shoemaking? Is there any principle or philosophy like that that applies to both practices? I want to see if you've really been juggling between the two. Really fantastic.
Okay. So in this case, I can decide to talk like a philosopher where like basically we go by the same things we were taught in school, and we just give it a lecture and we go away, and somehow I'm not even remembering. I wouldn't say there's a principle per se. For me, I think even back in school, those who were close to me knew that the one thing I was always going in for was there's nothing new under the sun. And the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun, right? Every design you come across has already been made. Maybe not in the same way you are seeing it, but the principles are there. The same for shoes. It's the same principles I work with, right? We know that you can't have a heel of a shoe at a certain angle, otherwise it will affect the person, right? Now, patterns of shoes have already been created. You can't recreate the wheel. And then now
No way.
hexagon. You get it?
All
For
right.
me, even though I would say that this is not a principle written down in architecture, like the harmonies, form follows functions and all that, for me, practically, I say the principle of copying. Wise copying, really, because if you look at it carefully, even the trends that we follow on TikTok, on Instagram, and people are becoming famous, someone started it, then someone decided to copy, decided to make it theirs, they copied. Then someone else copied, then it became a trend. There's really, Mr. Esther once said this statement that even the design you make, it is as a result of what you've seen. And so you design your environment. If you grow up in a zongo, you end up designing a zongo when they tell you to design Mensia, unknowing to you, then, right? And so for me, it is looking at someone's own, making it yours, putting it out there.
Okay. I mean, fantastic points. Fantastic point. I mean, this applies in architecture. This applies in the shoemaking you're doing, and this actually leads me to asking. I mean, how does being a very good shoe manufacturer make you a good architect in the same way? How is the shoemaking, I mean, helping you or actually molding you into being a better architect even?
Okay, so it's both ways. One thing that I feel we were failed to be taught is how to consider architecture as business. That's one thing I think I don't know, the whole country failed us, or the school failed us. I don't know who failed us, but someone failed us, where we can't quantify architecture as a business. We only see architecture as designs, architecture as putting in components and rendering, right? But then when you come to an architecture student right now, I can even post that question on this platform where you ask someone, what is the value of a one bedroom? Your value of your one bedroom design, right? We can't put a value to our works, our time, the input we are putting in. So for me, what is actually helping me from the shoe part of it is I'm able to price my shoe at a certain price. And so then I come to architecture and I'm like, if I can price my shoe here, now let me also price all the components that I put in the architecture work and then put it out. So if you are coming to me, you're coming to me as a business person. I'm not doing, and the line will go here. Business because I'm doing
Right.
business. And so, well, that is what has helped me so far. That's what has helped me so far.
Wow, that's actually a very good reason and a good point that is shaping you to be a better person. Because the shoemaking is more a serious business. I mean, if this is really coming from your heart and you're passionate about it and God gave you passion, then I guess this is also making you to love God too and actually helping you in a way to become serious about the architecture, commercialize, monetize it, and see it to be a more serious business also. And that answers my question. That's really, really fantastic. Honestly, I'm thinking when it comes to time management, you didn't start this business after school. Whilst in school, you were still doing it. So there are demands. Okay, you met Mrs. or you met Dr. Malfoy, you met this guy, you met that guy, and they all wanted um, shoes. And same people, right? They've given you schemes and they've given you jobs and they are your supervisors and they are still demanding for their work. When do you say, okay, let me
Yeah.
push my thesis and then let me do the shoe and then be able to submit the shoe and the thesis to the same guy at the same time? How did you manage the time?
Okay. So first off, I did my thesis. I actually designed a shoe factory for myself for my
Ah,
thesis.
okay.
My theoretical thesis had nothing to do with my design thesis. I promise you it. So like two ways. And some of my mates do not. Yeah, I say that it was God that made it possible. But then the point was, as I'm doing this for myself, and I almost say
Mm,
thesis, sometimes you don't use it for anything, but this is the vision I want. And
mm,
I think I learned in fourth year, thanks to Dr.
mm,
Kofi, to manage
mhm.
time because he mafiaed us. He, he mafiaed us in the good way. Back then, we were crying because in fourth year, we were part of a group called the 44, the famous 44.
I, I
We were
remember
going to
that
be
group.
I was the assistant head. Williams was the head of that group. I was the assistant head, and we were
You
going to
guys
be
had
sacked
positions and all that.
because we were late on submission. And what that thing taught me was, see, the client does not care about what you are going through.
Mhm,
No one really cares. If they are paying you, they want value for their money. And bear in mind, the moment you miss one deadline, the trust
mhm.
they're having for you is just going down and going down, going down.
Right.
So for me, what back then I was doing in school is I scheduled it in such a way that I know that my routine is church classroom. I'm not a party person, just
Mhm,
church classroom. So I know that church is maybe Wednesday evening, Saturday
mhm,
this, that.
mhm,
And then
mhm,
I know that, okay, since I did the business more or less like online. And so unless
mhm.
I'll meet you and I'll be like, "Hey, Papa," which literally is in my daily conversation. And so the moment you meet me, you know that Mpaboa is there. Like it's part of my life. Right. So and I started also working at your friend is saying the printing press in the department. Arc Lab,
Oh,
Smart
okay.
Lab.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Small labs.
I
Yeah.
started working there. Doing thesis that I started working there. Now what I did was I prioritized the things I needed to do. I
Mhm,
knew that at the end of the day, meaning say chapter 2. May day I chapter 3. If sometimes
mhm,
with me chapter 3, now my mates are behind, right? Then I'll be sleeping. And I think God just grants me that grace of speed because even in the undergrad, I was kind of doing a lot of works in the
mhm.
same short time that we all had, right? And so
Okay.
for me, it is like even now, what I do is when a client comes to me, I ask, "What is your deadline?"
Mhm,
And I'll be truthful with you. if you are giving me Monday, I'll tell you Monday is not possible. Let's do it Tuesday. And I'm making sure I'm sticking Tuesday because I said Tuesday. And yet or no, I catch me Tuesday. So then I'm letting my yes be my yes and my no be my no. And so as much as possible, after fourth year, after that lesson that we went through, I made sure I submitted way before. Way before. Oh yeah, midday, I'll submit a week before or 3 days before. I'll kill myself and finish, then go and sleep. And that's how I did it.
Okay.
And it's worked. It's worked.
Fantastic. I mean, this. I'm so happy that this kind of training and then sticking to deadline and all timelines came from architecture, and then some experience we had back there as one of the leaders of the 44, the what 44. Oh my days. Okay, so let me let me just go through some of the comments I have here. Oh, somebody said you are just doing the shoemaking be the career. Akito is just a hobby. Oh, do you think so? Do you think so? No, just don't tell me this is true.
Oh no, Akito is my part-time job. That's why I say shoemaking is a full-time. Akito is part-time.
Okay, so the shoemaking is career. Akito no be hobby, it be part-time, it still be job. Okay. All right. So just like I'm going to ask anyone who have a specific question for Josephine. Of course, again, we are going to have the Q&A session. But if you have a question for Josephine, I'd like to take it right now. You can just put up your hand or unmute your microphone and ask your question. Does anyone have a question? Hey, Kelvin, I see you, my boss, Kelvin. Kelvin Aduboy. Okay. Okay, you are the one question the commotion over there. Beside has the hobby beside hustle. And then Provost, do you have any questions? Does anybody have any questions? Not yet. Okay, all right. So just if nobody has a question, let me ask you the last one before the third speaker comes in. If anybody want to go into any business, a student, be it architecture, be it sociology, social work, or whatever, in the garment of a student, and the person want to go into a business, what would be that one advice you give to that person?
Charlie, be yourself. It's not everyone that has been able to figure out what they want to do. And even now, I say that I've not figured out what I want to do completely. But be truthful with yourself. And yet, Obia McAfee's kind of skill. Master, if you put me there, I'll flop. No, I'm a good student. I'm a good student. But then if you put me there, I'll flop. If you put me at selling, I'll do well. As long as I have to convince you, I'll do well. I can help, right? And so know yourself. And you see, you can consider getting help. Obia hiamba, right? You can't do everything on your own and by yourself. If you have an idea, ask someone. Please, do you think this will work? But most importantly, me, I'm a Christian, as I'll say it for myself. If you take God out of the situation, like, what's because recently I was sitting down and I was just trying to reflect. I was actually doing shoemaking in SS. It's quite funny. I used to take my colleagues' slippers back then, slippers and sandals. Maybe the metal that they pump in Papua, the traditional one, maybe because when I'm there on Makoy, I don't know why I sent it. But then back then I was fixing their slippers and sandals at here, right? And so sometimes God directs our path that we in such a way that we might not understand, right? But it's inbuilt. He's speaking to us day in and day out by the skills we have, the talents we have, even the things we do not like, right? We can use it. It's not difficult. Start small. Please start small. Because what happens is when you start big and it flops, it will be difficult for you to actually go back because you don't know how it started at a small point. It even if say starting a baby and it gets to 100 and it flops, you know all the points you have to go through to go back to 100. You didn't jump any of the process. And so please be considerate when, I've gotten an idea. I need investors. $10,000 billion. I don't know, is that correct word? I don't know if it's a correct English, but then you get it and you just waste it. When you waste it now, you don't know how to start because then you don't know the little parts of it. And so it's not difficult. Know yourself. If you do not know yourself, Charlie, pray. Prayer is everything.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Josephine. I mean, so much love for you right now. I think, hey, Charlie, this someone has fallen for the 44 hardcore students. So he said this no be 47 running. This now 44 hardcore students. Charlie, this guy is troublesome. That's true, Joe. The trick is to start small. Okay, somebody agrees with you 100% that the trick is to start small, and then you started very small, and we pray. I'm very hopeful, and I'm going to keep that particular shoe I have from you, because one day if you reach where I want you to be, I can auction that shoe for a very higher price. That you made it with
Ah,
your hand, and I own it.
I tell you, that'll be your signature.
I know, right?
Enter
That's
the
where we are going
office.
to, right? Thank you so much, Josephine. I appreciate it. We'll come back to the Q&A session where you have more questions to answer.